Hey there, can you hear me? How's it going? Am I audible? Can you hear me, everybody? Yes or no? Yep. Okay, great. Awesome. I'm doing well. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for joining me, taking time out of your day. What are you guys working on today? For some reason, it's not letting me type in the chat, but that's okay. Let me know if there's any lag, anything like that. Oh, there it is. There's the chat. What the heck? All right. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. You ever played Muskets and Tomahawks before, Captain Tops? Okay, perfect. I didn't know if that was you. Awesome. Yeah, it's one of my favorite games for the time period. This is a supplement for the Civil War, so it's really fun. Uses cards and 10-sided dice. I want to get you to try Baron's War also with me. It's a night game. And let me know if you can't hear me or if I need to turn it up or whatever. Let me see what's going on. All right, we're about ready to start. It's 4 o'clock. Thanks, man. Looking forward to seeing those winter Germans. All right, well, on time guarantee. So thanks for showing up on time, 4 o'clock. Been holding on to this for a while. I've been I pre-ordered this game rule set back in early April. As soon as I saw it was out, there's 3 supplements now to this game. This is the 3rd supplement. This covers the American Civil War and the War of, what is that? Franco-Prussian War. Sorry, covers the Franco-Prussian War also. So I ordered this from North Star Military. They make the figures, a lot of the figures for this, and I'm not sure if they're the publisher. I know Studio Tomahawk is the publisher on there. So pre-ordered this back in April. Like I said, got it May 1st, but I was been busy and I've been wanting to hold on to this. So this is the box that came in. Obviously, I pre-cut it open so that I can just get into it. The pre-order set that I ordered gave me a little figure, so I'm looking forward to seeing what that guy looks like. And here he is. Hopefully, you guys can see him. He's a officer of some sort. Let me see here. Comes in the bubble wrap, of course. So since I pre-ordered back in April, they sent me this. Looks like a Union officer, maybe. I'm sure you can make it either one. So he's metal. I like the metals. He looks like he's going to fit nicely into the Perry miniature. I used Perry miniature for my Civil War. So it looks like he'll fit nicely with the size and everything for that. And so happy I did the pre-order. And so it game's a nice popcorn, obviously. So we'll dig in here. So it's a card set. This game's played with cards if you haven't played before. They activate. It's pretty cool. If you either have your unit card or your enemy unit card in your hand, you have 3 cards, and you have to choose to use either your enemy unit card at a certain time, which sometimes you'll be holding 3 enemy unit cards, and so it's really difficult. But if you use the enemy unit card, then you get a command point, which if you guild enough command points, then you can override the card system and do some orders. So I'm opening up the cards right now to see what they're about. Look pretty sturdy, standard card size. All right, so just a little backdrop. And then there's the 3 standard time cards. That's how you know if the game ends. Looks like there's morale for both sides, and it looks like the cards are in, gray and blue, obviously, for the team units there. And that's their morale, so that's pretty standard. Their forward boys, standard. I was just wondering how they did the different units, because in their first game, they had militia and irregular units. So it looks like they did infantry, pretty standard gray and blue. Sorry, infantry. And then it looks like they did volunteers. So I was wondering how they did that. Volunteers. And then they have riflemen, which is probably those like bearded snipers, bearded sharpshooters, because these guys have green hats, or the green hat is here. So that makes sense to me. Oh, and then they do have militia. Interesting. Interesting. Militia. I don't know. Sorry if that's a bad reflection, probably. Looks like partisans. So it looks like you could do some cool bushwhackers versus Jayhawks, maybe. Partisans. Cavalry, of course. Jeb Stuart and General Custer there. And then finally, you got your artillery pieces. Oh, and civilians. Woo woo. So it looks like it's pretty standard to the other game. There's maybe changed riflemen out and partisans. Other than that, so that's cool. Looking forward to looking at the supplement. Sorry about that. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope your afternoon's going well. Let us know in the chat if you've played Muskets and Tomahawks before. There is the what is it called? Shakos and Bayonets, I believe, which is skirmish for Napoleonics, and I just never got into it. I don't have any Napoleonics, and I heard it's sort of hard, and I don't know. Some people didn't like it, so we can leave it at that. All right, so I bought the starter set, or the pre-order set, which was the deluxe set, I guess. So I get some of these tokens again, which I had for the first game, which you never have enough of course. So there's things like fire, deployment, vigilant, shaken, flight, plunder. There's objectives, so it's going to just add to the glory there. All right, and so this is the book we've been waiting for. This is the supplement. I also have the supplement. I'll open that in a moment. Sorry for the backdrop. Nice front, nice rifle on the front like the other books. And then finally, I didn't realize I was buying this, but it's another rule set, the standard rule set, hardback. So maybe I'll sell my other one and keep this one. But yeah, it's a good set. I like this a lot. And so Muskets and Tomahawks. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna, since I've already opened up, I know the standard set. If someone wants me to open up the rules, I will. The general rules, I will. But here's the supplemental. So I should have brought over a knife with me. Of course I didn't. How did you not realize that you were buying it? I don't know how I didn't realize I was buying it. What do you mean? Did I say something? Oh, this. Yeah, I didn't. Oh, sorry. Yeah, duh. I didn't look at it close enough. Duh. That's why I'm dumb. Because I thought it was $60. It was $60, I think, from England. So I thought it was just the part of the shipping or something, I guess. So yeah, let me know if anyone wants to buy it off me. So yeah, Kepis and Bayonets, or if I like you, I guess I could give it to you. So looks like they start with a nice table of contents, obviously, and then some breakdown of the newer rules. Breakdown of the newer rules. Rebel Yell, Mount Up, Fix Bayonets. I won't say everything so that you have to buy the book. New weapons, Buck and Ball, revolvers, some other stuff. Yeah, so some nice talents they've added in. Talents. Let's look here. In a specialized force, all officers from the dominant troop receive troop types. So there's some talents that you add. That's pretty cool. Solid shot. They had a little errata for that. And it looks like they broke into a little history of the Civil War, which if you don't know, then you need to go back and study that tonight. Have it down 100% by the morning. And so, yeah. And then looks like they start with Union troops. Union troops, maybe? Or are they all just standard? Let me check this out. Oh, yeah. So they give a standard grouping like cavalry, skirmish, officer, volunteers. So it looks like the same breakdown. Your skirmisher, your trained, your shooting, your aggression, your defense. You got your native type trait. You got your sharpshooter trait. And then you can buy extra stuff. Like if you want to make your unit a little weaker, like we all do, you can buy sham soldiers. I guess I always question that, but I guess it's because you want to break down the unit price or unit costs. So maybe go a little weaker. Look, got a Native American chief. We can break in the Native Americans. I know they were out in the Western theater. I think they were Cherokees that fought with the Confederates. Looks like they have some U.S. forces that are special, like Iron Brigade, Zouaves, Bucktails. So that's cool. Nice art. They have great figures in here. I wonder who these figures are. They might be Perry. I'm not sure. Because I don't know if they make their own figures for North Star. I'll have to look. They look like Perry. So then there's the Louisiana Tigers. Now we're getting into some of the Confederates. Of course, you can do the Stonewall Brigade. And then Forrest, Bedford Forrest is cavalry. Custer's Wolverines. Some excellent stuff. You can do a campaign here. Looks like that's pretty cool. With some experience development. Let me know if there's anything especially that you guys want to look at. If you're interested or if you've played, let me know. Just busting out the book today. So, and then they have the battles. They have the real battles. Bull Run, Peninsula, Chancellorsville, all the battles. So what does that do? Oh, so it gives you different scenarios. If let's say you pick Shiloh, morning meeting, defender, attacker is already picked for you, of course. And then, so here's a pretty cool thing. So like, let's say you're doing Shiloh, all the Union troops have to be cowardly, and then all the Confederates take idle trait, whatever that is. Don't know what that is, but I'm sure that's going to make the scenario. I like playing scenarios or objective. And this is more of a skirmish game, so I'm liking that. I've been into the skirmish games lately. Mass battle games, or I don't know. They seem like they turn into a rugby scrum. Everyone's just slamming up against each other for about 20 minutes, maybe 4 hours. So then it tells you how to deploy, set up, who starts. There's things like bloodbath. Let me see what this is. Oh, those are events. So if you roll for certain events, let's look at some of the beautiful artwork. I'll get in there first. Sorry for the glare. I don't know why the glare is there. I thought it might be better to be brighter. I can't fix it now. Sorry. Let me see. Oh, you can go back to Bleeding Kansas if you want to. They set up scenarios for that. Let's see. Oh, they can do it. You can do a whole campaign in Kansas. So that's cool. Bleeding Kansas. God save the South. All right. So you can do a raid. So there's different types of obviously game types, more scenarios when you're playing. And in the other type, you roll beforehand, and then you roll for if it's urban or if it's forest, and then you roll for what you're doing and what your enemy is going to do. So let's see what they do here. Oh, so this is for actually for Bleeding Kansas specifically. So then you got generic scenarios like looters, train attack. So then we get into the Franco-Prussian War. If you're into that, the troops look pretty similar. Obviously, they got a little European flair to them. So I don't think you can sneak in the Prussians, but you could probably sneak in the French if you replace them for Unions. Then it gives you a nice history of the Franco-Prussian War. That obviously would just be a refresher for all of us because we all know about that war. Interesting war. I've read a little bit about it. Napoleon III getting captured. Pretty weird. Not very Napoleon-like. So then they got the French lists, line cavalry, line infantry with their red kepis. They got basically their partisans, which are Franc-Tireurs. And what's this? Guard Mobile. Mobile guards, I guess. Not sure what they would do. Then you got your Prussians. You got your Pickelhaube helmets. Pickelhaube helmet. Get that out for dressy events, right? So they break it down just like the other troops, but obviously their German Landwehr would be probably your militia. And then they have a random event chart. They have a nice reference sheet. Now, I love this game because the whole game always starts, everybody can see 120 inches. So basically the whole board. But then you have to put in some factors like if they're in a bush, are they a Native American, certain factors like that. And then it usually goes down 4 or 5 slots, and you're usually normally within the 12-inch to, this is what I'm talking about right here. So I really like that. I mean, it takes an extra step for sighting, but sometimes, like if Native Americans are right next to you and you can't even see them, and so then it makes the person decide if they're in the forest if they want to shoot or not, because the smoke is a telling effect and gives you a better view of them, obviously. And that's the other thing I like about this game. You have to reload. Normally, I haven't played Kepis, obviously. Need to read through the rules. So I'll let you know what I think if we ever get to play it. I hope maybe play it in July. So then there's the standard rule book. It's hardbound. Goes over the general rules. This game goes from the French and Indian War all the way up until 1870 Prussian War. So, pretty fun. So I think they've completed what they've said they're going to do. Maybe they're going to do Victorian. So it might go to Victorian. They might add another Victorian. We have to check on their website. So like I said, I got that back in April. I was really excited to see it. I've been waiting for it. The Shakos and Bayonets I heard was lackluster. My friend Luis has it, so I haven't played it. Maybe he'll play it someday. I don't have any Napoleonics. And I always wonder how a skirmish game works for Napoleonics. Probably a nice little raid into a village or something. Pretty fun. So that's great. Any comments or thoughts about that? Muskets and Tomahawks? Kepis and Bayonets. All right, I'm up in Camarillo. If anyone wants to play, just hit me up. We can play. Again, it's a card game, and then you use command chits to alter the cards when you want to not use your cards that you have, because sometimes you're forced to use the enemy card, so it's always good. Okay, and then the other thing I definitely wanted to cover was I've been obviously advancing forward with Baron's War. I like this game a lot. It's very simple, straightforward. I met a friend also named Mark. We played over at Xander's in Camarillo. We did a training, learning game. Okay, hey, thanks, Captain. Yeah, so the game is like 2 to 3 hours, I guess. I haven't played Civil War, so I'm not sure. I mean, if it's a smaller board, it's supposed to be played on a 4x4 board normally, so that if you maybe move the men in, you could speed it up. And a deck. I bought this whole starter set for $60 from England. I think the American stores, if you want to look around, probably have it now. But like I said, I bought it from what was it called? North Star, North Star Military, and they have really nice figures also. Anyways, I think this little set is $11. Don't quote me on that. Go for 20 in your mind maybe for the shipping. And then obviously the little tokens, they actually on their website, North Star or Studio Tomahawk, I believe it's a French website or a French company. They You can print these out for free if you don't want to have cardboard, or you can maybe print them on cardboard if you're a smart laddie and know how to do that. So yeah, you can print that out for free. I think you might even be able to print the cards out for free. I'm not sure. Check on studiotomahawk.com. Pretty sure. So yeah, yeah. No, it's a good game. But if you want to just try it out, Captain, we will play it, and you'll let me know if you like it or not. And that's good to go. And I really like the factor in the other game. It's called Muskets and Tomahawks. Redcoats. What is it called? Yeah, Redcoats and Tomahawks. Redcoats and Tomahawks is their first supplement. Um, I like how if you use a long rifle, like a Pennsylvania long rifle, it takes 2 turns to reload, so that's fun. But the sight is forever across the board, so that's cool. So yeah, any more thoughts on Kepis and Bayonets? Right on. All right, we'll get into Baron's War. So like I said, I've been getting into Baron's War. I did a training game with this guy named Mark over at Xander's. It's a very easy game to pick up. You just move, you either charge if you have obviously a shooting unit like a bowman, you can shoot with them. They're about 30 men in a retinue. Obviously, that's 500 points, which is a small game. This game's played on a 4x4 board also. Um, a lot of objective base. It seems pretty straightforward, obviously, at first. And then there's some abilities and traits that you can add. And then recently, I did get suckered into picking up the King John book, which is their new supplement. It's their source book. They added Robin Hood in there, which is cool. I like that a lot. He seems really a little bit more difficult to play with because there's certain command options. For like example, in this game, your retinue has a retinue leader, of course, which is either a baron, which is always a baron usually, or unless you're playing like King John or King Louis or something. There's some person, what is it, famous persona in there. Um, or like Robin Hood, Maid Marian, the Merry Men. So yeah, so the retinue is a little different for them with Robin Hood. So you have to. I don't know. I haven't really understood it yet, so I'll figure it out. And then they have the French retinues called the Poitevins. They use paladins, which have some special abilities, which other teams don't have. You got the mercenaries. They have obviously some more different variables. So you can either buy. There's some standard abilities like the Flemish. They come with what's called Flemish, and it allows them if you have them in a group to charge forward as one big group, which is pretty key when you have limited activations in this game. So basically, every unit has one activation, except for your Baron. He has three, and your lower lords have two, and they can command other units, and they can make their push their units to make them weary. And so yeah, you have to decide all those factors. I haven't used mounted yet. Like I said, I've just played with new troops. The one thing I found with the starter set, they give you these cool obstacles that come with it, some terrain. The only confusion is they don't really tell you how. I mean, it's sort of obvious. There's a footprint on the base where it goes, but these spikes, they don't give you enough as they show in the instructions. So you're looking around for spikes that aren't there for a minute. So know that. And then this was a little weird too. Hang on one second. I might have messed up and threw it away. I might have missed it, but this lid to this chest is supposed to have a chest under it, but I couldn't find it. So I don't know if I screwed up or. And then you get double for each barricade. You get double for. And so yeah, I really like this game a lot. I've been playing a lot of solo through. It's really simple, straightforward. And then again, I got suckered into. I had to get some horse knights from, and then I did Victrix. I like them a lot. They're really. They seem like they're a little bigger than the starter sets men, which are War Games Atlantic. But yeah, I like Victrix. I'm hoping they do more World War II. They have some really cool German heavy weapon set, and then just a German grenadier set. They're a little bit obviously thinner. They're like Perry more. They're a little bit thinner than Warlord. Warlord has those thick heroic troops. So yeah. So yeah, I like that a lot. Baron's War. Anybody want to tell me what they're up to today? Gonna pry into your life. So some of the things I know that Captain said he's doing some winter Germans. So that's cool. So let's say here's some cool things that are a little weird about this game of Baron's War is let's say you have a retinue with your Baron in it. So that's the leader retinue. You can add some abilities or upgrades that seem a little strange at first. Like you can add a bannerman. So then usually 17th century militia. All right, nice. So the bannerman is going to replace one of your knights. So he's going to carry a flag, which is going to help morale around the board. But he still fights with his sword just like normal, even though he's holding the flag. So, don't get hung up on that. And then you could add a juggler or sometimes a troubadour or a musician or a priest. Again, that's going to just be one of the knights fighting in the retinue, I believe, from what I'm figuring out. So that confused me for a minute. I was wondering if I have to buy figures that represent those, which I guess you could. They just don't fight, maybe. But but it just represents one of the retinue. They like, let's say they're a musician now, I believe. So I'll get into that a little bit more. And then that musician just expands your command radius for morale checks. And the sergeants obviously do benefits for morale checks, and they're hard fighters. They're your plug uglies. They're gonna brawl it out. Then you have to, which is cool in this game also, you have to have amount of green troops, which, balances it out. And then that's your levy that you picked up along the way while you're going to go get your fight. So you got some peasants with you. And then you have some things you can do with those peasants, like give them some spears. They can have some small shields. The spears have better benefits. You fight at a little bit longer distance. So yeah. And then there's some cool stuff like Inspire, which in this game both players roll for every round to see who starts the turn, and so that Inspire might help you get the turn. And then obviously there's mounted and unmounted troops. Obviously not the peasants, not allowed to have horses probably. So yeah, and then it looks like you in this game. Last time I had a live thing about this game, I was uneducated about the Middle Ages a lot. So I did a review, and so I'm figuring out this game goes from about 11. I guess you could push it to 1180 but it really focuses on the Barons War, obviously, which is in the 1212s, 1217, sorry, 1212, yeah, 1212 to 1220s. So it's a really short little rebellion. But like I said, you could probably push this game back to 1180s, all the way maybe up to the 1270s, maybe about a 100-year period. If you're trying to really reflect the troops exactly. Because I know Jared might know this a little bit better. When plate mail starts hitting the field, this game is chainmail foot sergeants. Yeah, yeah, that's what we use. Exactly. Yeah, I got you bolt actions for sure. No, that's exactly what you use. The War Games Atlantic is the game, and you only need. Well, the problem is, I guess you could probably put your whole retinue into sergeants. You might need some knights. I can loan you some knights, no problem. All that stuff. But I don't know when plate mail hit the field. Probably in the 1300s, I think. So this game is not plate mail. It's chainmail, padded armor, or nothing. So those are and those will affect movement. Those will affect fighting, of course. There's a cool section of generating and making up your own lord, and they'll have their certain. You can pick certain abilities like Gutter Thug, Inspire. Gutter Thug lets you fight a little bit harder, or it makes the enemy reroll one of their hits. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to doing all this. So for some reason, it's caught my eye. Like I said, I'm not really into medieval normally, but this game is really simple, straightforward. Yeah, 13th, 14th century plate for sure. Really straightforward game. You don't really need a lot of terrain, just like 2 or 3 buildings. And yeah, so then I was looking into obviously another game that was close to it, which I haven't purchased yet, which is called Pillage by Victrix. I like it a lot. That looks really cool too. But that Victrix looks like it's from 800 to about 1,000. It looks like the Vikings. Not that you couldn't, obviously, peasants are peasants, right? I get that. But I mean, sometimes I get hung up on the reality of it. So, looking at Pillage, another $60 though. Got to wait for that part to throw down. Looking at that, I know I have a friend that's really into it right now. They're pumping it up. So if you check our website, you'll see that. So yeah, any thoughts? Right on. Yeah, so thanks for coming on and joining us for this lively chat today. I wish there was a way that we could see each other, and I guess that's called Zoom, but you know, on this YouTube session, maybe I'll figure it out. I am not savvy in that regard, and if you noticed, probably. So yeah. Oh, let me just break down some of the units real quick. So you got the Scottish, you got the mercenary, Potovan, Flemish, you got the standard feudal. Yeah, it's really cool. I don't know why again, like why it caught my eye. I think it's just really simple and straightforward. You move once, and if you move again, you're weary. And if the weary is always going to affect your morale and your fighting by 1, so that's cool. It's real simple. You're and then if you're wounded, you can have up to 6 wounds. Those always affect your morale. Real simple. You got to take a rally check if you lose half your men. That's simple. It's just a really simple game. And then I found a what do you call it list generator, which is pretty key. But the problem is it hasn't been updated to second edition book yet. So it doesn't have all the Scottish, the outlaws, the mercenaries. It only has the feudal retinue, which is key. It's cool. It's good. So it's newrecruit.eu. You can go there, newrecruit.eu, to make a list. It puts all the inherent traits into the your abilities for you. So, for example, most people always attack at a, let's say you start at like an 8 with your green. So let's say you bought a veteran, it'll automatically list the veteran at a 5 on your list. So it'll adjust everything for you. If you add male, it'll adjust the movement on there, and then let's say you added Gutter Thug, it'll tell you on there exactly what it does and what it does to help you. It's pretty cool in this game. If knights have a sword, they get to re-roll defensive misses because it's like a parry. Uh, the mace, I think, blocks shield usage because basically you get hit, and if you get hit and don't clear your defense, you die. But then you have a shield. If most people have a shield, and if you clear that, then you're safe. But if you don't, you're dead. So it's pretty brutal, obviously. Even the barons are like that. They don't have like extra hits. You get killed as a baron, you get killed. So, and then the game ends basically if you don't have another leader around that can pick up the baron who dies. So it's pretty key to use your baron because he's the hard man, in the battle. So you're gonna want to use him up front, but then you don't want him to get killed. So it's like that balance, which is probably part of medieval battles. I don't realize that I haven't done because I'm used to World War II and all those different games. So yeah, looking forward to again just expanding this game and getting it going. All right. Anyone want to share what they're gonna do all the rest of the weekend? Thoughts on both games, Kepis and Bayonets? How about your thoughts on card base? Normally, I'm not usually into card base, but the way they did this is that you have to sometimes be forced to use a card that helps the enemy. And so it's really key for you to adjust when you're using your command points, where you can override the cards, and when you're going to allow your enemy units to go, maybe on a time, let's say you know that their artillery can't shoot or their artillery is unloaded. You use the artillery card for the enemy, and then they have to use it at that moment. So then maybe they reload, and so that maybe gives you that pass to do something else with your next card. And it is a back and forth turn-based game. Boom, boom, boom. And then there is the randomness of the time clock cards. They show up. You get 3 time clocks, and that ends a turn. So sometimes if you don't shuffle right, obviously you get those time clocks pretty quick. Yeah, man. Obviously, I'm down. I understand about buying some new stuff. I always like to just try it out, and I'll let people use my stuff. Only break your fingers if you break my man. Just kidding. Um, it's okay. People break my man all the time. I'm used to it. So no, yeah, come on out. We'll play a game. Borrow whatever you want. The problem is, I guess, making a list, but I can make a list for you. No problem. Right now, I'm just into the standard list. I got to make more models if I want to expand, which I did by the knights. So that's going to let me add some points. They're pretty costly, obviously. Pretty cool thing about that. Uh, the lance is a one-time popper. You use it once, it breaks, and then they use their other armed weapon after that. So you have to decide when you're going to charge in and use that lance. You get a benefit, obviously. And then if you have like the Flemish, I believe they have what's called shield wall, and then they can counter that. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm just a baron here, man. Yeah, it's really cool. Oh, and then they have a supplement for this. It's because this is second edition, of course. So they have a supplement for Islam. They're what do you call that? Outramer. It's called Outramer, and I'm sure you could fiddle it with it. And I'm imagining they're going to come out with the supplement for the Islamic Crusades. So I mean, Crusaders. You know, if you have some Crusaders, you could definitely be used in this game. Uh, you know what? I think it's still useful for the scenario layouts and the troop types. I don't know how different. I never played first edition, so I wouldn't know the difference. I know I was watching Seventh Son, and he said he used the scenario generator to make a scenario about attacking walls. I believe that's one he said. And there was a couple first editions, Death by Taxes, I think, that you could probably fiddle with and adjust. So yeah, maybe pick up a used edition. I don't know, but this just King John just came out, and it seems all Europe. So I'm sure they're gonna come out with the Islam quick. And then it's the troops originally were what's the Footsore? Footsore were the minis that were originally part of this game, and I bought one of them. I bought a priest or something a long time ago, not realizing it was part of this game. And now I have him, which is cool. And then War Games Atlantic took over somehow or got involved. So they're making the troops in plastic, which is a little cheaper, but obviously probably they actually have really good quality. So yeah. So double check the Outramer. I'm pretty sure you can still use the scenarios. I don't know how they could make it much different. So yeah. So I like the War Game Atlantic. They have really great detail. They just seem a little shorter, but if you just fill them into the troops, hang on one second. Like these guys, I have these guys. My daughter bought me for Christmas. There's some Afghan warriors, and they're just a little shorter. It looks like a little tinier than the other troops, but I think if you fit him into a mass army, it looks good. And then I'll use them for men who would be kings. I got to get someone to pay for my life so I can just sit home and paint, right? So, yeah. All right, on. Yeah, well, this has been great, guys. I appreciate you guys coming out and checking out everything and getting into the games with me. Um, don't hesitate to hit me up. I'm coming into summer now, so I'll have some time to play some games. I need to get more. I have my videos all loaded up. I'm going to start making more videos. It's just I have some antiquated way to do it, and so it takes forever. And so, yeah. Excuses, right? Excuses are like blanks. Everyone have them, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Go back to my little mini dude. What was his name? Matthew Broderick in Glory. This looks like that guy. Shaw, maybe. I think his name is Shaw. He has the epaulets. So he must be like a colonel. I don't think captains had epaulets on their jackets. So yeah, all over the place. Civil War, medieval, World War II, whatever it is historical, we like to play it, right? So yeah. I haven't gotten into 100 Years War yet, which I'll probably get suckered into that at some point. And then Pike and Shot, haven't gotten into that, so I stay away, just don't look at it. And Napoleon, I know that I won't do that because there's just too many troops, and I just have too much to do. Right on. Well, good luck, everybody. Thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it. I'm hoping to get a video out this weekend about an old Men Who Would Be King game that Dan and I played. And then Captain and I have a couple games loaded up I have to print out or edit. And so, yeah, I need to get a college intern to help me do the editing or something. So, yeah, thanks for coming out, guys. Good luck. See you at the tables, and good luck with everything. Thanks.